This video is presented by Western and Southern Financial Group, a game plan for your financial future. Every great team starts with a strong foundation, and your future should too. With life insurance built like a championship roster, Western and Southern helps protect what matters most, so you can focus on winning today while planning for tomorrow. Whether you're just starting your journey, building your dynasty, or ready to retire like a champion, Western and Southern has the right play for your life stage. Visit westernsouthern.com to get your free life insurance quote today. Western and Southern, built to win. First game in our four-game preview now. Number 9, Alabama at number 8, Oklahoma. Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC and ESPN. The winner of this game moves on to the quarterfinals to take on top-seeded Indiana in the Rose Bowl. It's a rematch for Alabama and Oklahoma. They played each other back in Week 12. The Sooners went on the road in that game and beat Alabama by a 23-21 final score. Oklahoma now, of course, hosts this game against Alabama. 10-2 record on the year for Oklahoma, playing in their first playoff under head coach Brent Venables, their first playoff appearance since 2019, back when Jalen Hurts was their quarterback. Alabama, meanwhile, has a 10-3 record on the year. They lost in the SEC championship game to Georgia. It's also the Crimson Tide's first playoff appearance under head coach Kalen DeBoer, and their first in 2 years. The winner of this game moves on to the quarterfinals and, again, takes on number 1 Indiana in the Rose Bowl. Dalton, let's start off with the visiting team, the Alabama. You have the passing game for Alabama against Oklahoma's pass defense. Again, I mentioned before, Ty Simpson against those blitzes should be a really pivotal matchup in this game.
It is, I would argue it is the biggest matchup in this entire game is Ty Simpson versus Brent Venables. Venables got the better of Simpson back in the regular season, just as he got the better of Jalen Milroe last year when Oklahoma defeated Alabama. And this has really been a problem for Ty Simpson throughout the second half of the year when you don't have the run game, and you're going to go over that side of it for the Crimson Tide. But when you don't have the run game to stay ahead of schedule, you get these defensive coordinators who are getting really, really aggressive when it comes to sending blitzes at Ty Simpson. Blake Baker at LSU did it. Brent Venables did it for Oklahoma. Glenn Schumann in the SEC title game blitzed Ty Simpson more than 60% of the time. And when you go back to this exact matchup, nobody blitzed him more than Venables. On 2/3 of his dropbacks, Ty Simpson was blitzed in that game. Extra pressure, simulated pressure, rotated coverages. We show this in our breakdown that we have in a separate video here, that not only does Brent Venables send pressure, but he knows where Ty Simpson wants to go in the face of pressure with his hots, with different reads on the weak side of formations. Look at that, 46.6 passing grade against the blitz against Oklahoma in the first matchup. 4 sacks, 3 turnover-worthy plays, including the early pick six that really set things in Oklahoma's favor early. So if you're Kalen DeBoer, if you're Ryan Grubb, if you're Ty Simpson, you need to have a better plan for pressure. And it wasn't just the Oklahoma game. It's been several games where teams have figured out, hey, if we blitz this team, and to me, when I watch this tape, it's not really even the fault of the offensive line. They've still been solid, but you just get these overload blitzes where there's one extra. They're making the backs protect. And then again, they know on the back end where Ty Simpson wants to go with the football because he's not that athletic. He's a decent athlete, but he's not athletic enough to consistently improvise throughout 60 minutes of a ball game. So when you look at the task that Simpson and Grubb and DeBoer have in this game, they have to find a way to find new answers in the passing game to beat Brent Venables' blitz packages. But also, I think 2 things they need to do as well. One, you're going to mention this, find any way you can to run the football. And 2, I'd run a little bit more tempo because Alabama, they're one of the highest time of possession teams in the country. Despite being a pass-heavy offense, they've really been a ball control team. I think they need to speed things up and maybe even get in their 2-minute offense a little earlier in the game, because when you do go up-tempo, you take away Brent Venables' ability to go with those blitz packages in every passing situation. But to me, that is the matchup of this entire game, is Ty Simpson versus Brent Venables, and how aggressive Venables is going to be. If it's as aggressive as last time, which I think it will be, then Simpson's going to have to find answers quickly from the pocket.
By the way, if you want to see a full tape breakdown from Dalton and I, breaking down just Ty Simpson against those blitzes and what was so good early on in the year and what changed in the second half of the year and why he struggled against the blitzes, check it out here on this channel. Now, Dalton, in that video, you kind of talk about, hey, Ty Simpson has struggled in the second half of the year against blitzes, but also Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb have struggled to find answers for their quarterback against blitzes too, right?
There are times to me when it's gotten predictable when it comes to their counterpunches with blitzes. You see a lot of the same looks from Alabama's offense as you did the first half of the year when things were working, right?
Yeah.
But you're seeing them go with the same concepts, and now they're not working because on the back end and the secondary, teams know where the ball is going, and they're changing, especially the rotations and coverages. And two, to me, again, it's too slow a tempo. They need to go up tempo with this and just get teams to not be so tempted to be in those looks. The offense, I understand it's a ball control offense. That's how they've won a lot of these games, but they need to pick up the pace. So Venables he just doesn't have that time, the whole 30, 35 seconds in the play clock to set these things up.
Yeah, so I have the Alabama run game against Oklahoma's run defense, and it's very, very simple. Can Alabama find anything on the ground in this one? Because it's no secret, the Crimson Tide have had a really bad run game this year. They only average 4 yards per carry, which is the third fewest in the Power 4. Only a 9% explosive run rate on the year. It's the 9th worst mark in the entire country. Jam Miller got hurt, and he missed the SEC title game against Georgia with a lower leg injury, although he should be good to go for the playoffs. So that will be a welcome addition to Alabama in their backfield. But even with Jam Miller, they have struggled to run the football this year. Oklahoma, meanwhile, has been one of the best teams in the country at defending the run. They're 5th in the country in EPA per run allowed and in yards per carry allowed, only allowing 3.5 yards per carry this year. And when Oklahoma beat Alabama about a month ago, the Sooners only allowed 108 total rushing yards at a 3.7 yard average. The Crimson Tide only had 2 forced missed tackles in that game too. Alabama has to perform better on the ground in this game, or else the entire burden of the offense will be on Ty Simpson's shoulders.
And I think there's 2 problems, especially when you're talking about facing such a fast Oklahoma defense. One, Alabama's run game is not particularly creative, right? It's basically just get behind this offensive line and see how far we can push. And 2, with Simpson as your quarterback, this is the difference between having him and a guy like Milroe last year, where yes, Simpson is a better pure passer, but Simpson is not generally an option threat. Maybe once or twice he can keep it on a read option, but you're not consistently stressed as a defense by Ty Simpson's legs, which allows all the defenders in the front 7 to just key in on the football more than they would have to stay disciplined to their assignments and their gaps when it's true option football at times, like we're going to talk about on the other side of this matchup with John Mateer. But those are the problems, and they're going to just need the play calling to be a little bit better. Again, I think this is a moment where tempo could help, and this offensive line has to they can't just play a decent game up front. They need to dominate up front if Alabama's going to run the football.
So let's move over to the Oklahoma offense now, Dalton. You have the Oklahoma run game against Alabama's run defense. What should we know in that matchup?
So it's kind of the same old conversation we always have with the Crimson Tide. And the concern is the option game and the ability of John Mateer to keep the football, whether it's through the design quarterback runs or the read option game here. So Oklahoma runs either an option or a design quarterback run about half the time, about half their run plays, okay? And Alabama, when you look at the surface level grading, things like that, they're very good against the run, right? I believe a top 10 to 15 run defense grade, I should say, in total. But when you isolate this down now to plays with options and quarterback runs, it's a little more average. They're 32nd in run defense grade. They're 49th in yards per carry allowed. They're 86th in explosive run rate allowed when there's either an option on or a design quarterback run on, right? And obviously, again, Oklahoma, this is about half of their run game involves either an option or a design quarterback run from a tier. You get quarterback counters and things like that as well. So to me, when I'm watching this Alabama team, and we've talked about this for 2 years now, whether it's John Mateer, Lenoris Sellers, any other mobile Nico Iamaleava last year against Tennessee, any mobile quarterback that Alabama plays, it's an extra task, and it's those second-level defenders, the 3 linebackers, Deontay Lawson, Justin Jefferson, Nikai Hill-Green, and then the safety Bray Hubbard, who is so often floating in the box with those guys. Those are the ones that have to have the eye discipline. They have to see where the offensive line is going. They have to freeze for just an extra half second and stay disciplined in their gap in case John Mateer goes out the back door in these run schemes. Those guys have got to play their best game because Oklahoma, they want to slow it down. They want to run the football, and they can do that with their quarterback, John Mateer, as a threat in the run game. That second level, that group of defenders is going to be the key to Alabama's defense in this game?
Yeah, I'm looking at Oklahoma's passing game against Alabama's pass defense, and really just can John Mateer provide more as a passer now he's had a few weeks off to kind of help heal his hand injury, because John Mateer, he was the Heisman Trophy betting favorite through the first few weeks of the year. 85.5 passing grade through week 4 as a top 20 mark in the country, but then he broke his hand against Auburn, and his production dropped off a cliff. Since week 7, when he got hurt, he has a 42.5 passing grade. There's about like 160 quarterbacks in the country that qualified for that. He has the 4th worst of those like 160 quarterbacks in the country in passing grade since week 7. That includes a 51.2 passing grade against Alabama, where he only had 138 passing yards and no touchdowns in the win. And the Crimson Tide, they really haven't had much of a pass rush this year, but they've had one of the best secondaries in college football, 91.7 coverage grade, tied for 5th in the country. All 5 of Alabama's starting defensive backs have at least a 70 coverage grade this year. So 3 weeks off now for John Mateer. Hopefully his hand is fully healed, and maybe we'll see the John Mateer that we saw early on in the season, because Dalton, if he's the same guy that we've seen last 7 or 8 weeks so far this year, Oklahoma's offense, it really only scored 16 points against Alabama, because one of the touchdowns for Oklahoma in that game was a pick 6, of course. Oklahoma's offense could struggle once again.
And only 17 points each game in each of the last 2 against Missouri and LSU as well. And basically this Oklahoma passing game, to put it in baseball terms, it's a whole lot of strikeouts and the occasional home run with Isaiah Satania, right? That's the one guy with track speed who can really make the big play that flips the field, right? He's done it all season. You know, you get an occasional play over the middle to Jaron Kanek to move the chains. Deion Burks is also still a factor, but it's just been inconsistent all the way around for Oklahoma on offense, really both their run and passing game. But the passing game, especially since Mateer came back from the surgery. But look, this team, they keep themselves in close games. They hit maybe 2 or 3 home runs per game on offense, and that's all it takes for them, whether that's, you know, Isaiah Satania in the passing game or maybe a Xavier Robinson carry in the run game. That's how they've been getting by. And, you know, all year I've been equating them, you know, calling them the Pittsburgh Steelers, basically, of college football. That's how they've won games, but they certainly need something out of their passing game. It's very hard to win every week when you're getting 130, 150 passing yards, especially in college football.
Yeah. All right, Dalton, ultimately, who will win the first-round game of the college football playoff, and who will move on to the Rose Bowl to take on number 1 Indiana?
This is tough because, I mean, you've got an Oklahoma team that is so basically rooted in their identity, and their identity is Brent Venables and this defense, right, and just playing these low-scoring, fist-fight, ugly games. And then you have an Alabama team who, let's be real, they have not played their best football for probably the better part of 5 or 6 games. I think this is going to be tight. I think this is going to be a defensive game. Obviously, down in Norman, it's going to be a loud environment. But I'm not one right now who's trusting this inconsistency on this Alabama offense. I don't like what I see. They need to find new answers for the blitz. I'm going to take Oklahoma 20-17. I think their defense gets it done one more time, and it feels to me when I watch them, you know, and I know it's 2 games in the last 2 years, but they've got Alabama's number. And unless Alabama makes serious changes, either A, to run the football a lot better, or B, in their passing game over the last couple weeks, if they have found some answers, something new in the passing game for Ty Simpson to work with that throws Venables off, especially early in the game, right? I think getting off to a good start for this Alabama offense is going to be important, but I'm going to take the Sooners. I think it's just their defense to me right now is the most consistent unit on the field. Not that Alabama's defense isn't good, but I just think that Oklahoma defense can really control the pace of the game here at home.
So you have it 20-17. I have it 21-17 with Alabama actually beating Oklahoma. I think they will get revenge on the Sooners. I know Kalen DeBoer is 0-2 against Brent Venables in Oklahoma. This should be a very low-scoring game. I do think Alabama wins. I trust the Alabama offense more than Oklahoma's offense right now. I just think Alabama, there's at least a chance that Ty Simpson could have a decent game out there. I don't know about John Mateer in this offense for Oklahoma right now. So I think Alabama will win, be a very low-scoring game. I think it'll be 21-17, probably a coin flip game, but I think Alabama will get revenge on Oklahoma and move on to play Indiana in the Rose Bowl in the college football playoff quarterfinals. All right.
Everyone's got takes. Numbers have truth. And the truth is, most people are betting with emotion. Sportsbooks feed on it. TikTok gurus sell it. The hype machine runs on it. That's how you lose. PFF is different. You're betting with winning data. The same data trusted by all 32 NFL teams and the sharpest minds in the game. PFF betting tools take every prop, every matchup, every angle, and run them through our custom models. Built on the best football data in the world. What comes back is your edge. Simple, sharp, and built to win. Want to go deeper? PFF puts a pro-level analytics department in your hands, giving you the same insights teams use to find every advantage. Build your game plan with matchup analysis. Project every snap, every matchup, and every edge before kickoff, because the smartest plays start long before Sunday. Hit rates show how a player performs against their prop and against defenses built the same way. It's the data that gives you real confidence in every pick. Next, Key Insights translates PFF data into the story behind every matchup, giving you the why that powers your bets. From coverage schemes to defensive looks, it's the context that turns raw numbers into winning decisions. When you're ready to take action, filter through every prop on the market and focus on the opportunities that matter, by game, matchup, or value. Then, shop for the best available line in your area and tap your book of choice to place the bet instantly. Everyone's got takes, but now you've got truth. Bet with data, win with PFF.